Today's Daf Mem Beis, speaks about the halachas of a Mishuach Melchama, a Kayin who is anointed and designated for the purpose of encouraging the troops and leading them into battle. The Gemara says the very first Mishuach Melchama was Pinchas in the war against Midian, and the Gemara relates that Pinchas had two ancestors on his mother's side. He was descended from Yosef and Yisra. And the Gemara relates that when Pinchas did the action of killing Zimri while he was in the act of cohabiting with Cozbi, right? We know that there was a sort of plan on the part of the Midianites to seduce Jewish men and also at the same time encourage them to worship idols, and this was causing a punishment of a plague within the camp. And Pinchas publicly killed Zimri and Cozbi, making a statement that this was unacceptable and therefore stopped the plague. And this was obviously a very bold action. And it says that at the time when Pinchas was, launching himself towards Zimri and Cozbi, the Jewish people were mocking Pinchas, and they said, "Pinchas, who are you? Who are you to do such an action? Your ancestor was Yisrai, right? Yisrai, in his youth and early adulthood, fattened calves for idolatry. He was an idolatrous priest. So you, who comes from such yichus, should you kill Zimri, who's a leader, a prestigious person and a leader amongst the Jewish people?" And Rashi says it's therefore that the pasuk there delineates Pinchas's lineage and says that on his father's side he was descended from Aradakaim. He was the son of Elazar, who was the son of Aradakaim. So there are a few obvious questions on this passage. Number one, who cares who his yichus is, right? We know that Pinchas did the right thing, right? He's rewarded greatly for his action, although it was a bold action. It was what needed to be done at the time. And so who cares who your yichus is, right? Well, if you did the right thing, you did the right thing. So Rabbi Shapiro has a beautiful explanation on this, and he says that sometimes a person could do something which might be right, but it's simply an expression of his nature, right? So for example, this action, if someone was naturally a very fiery, very intense, very strict person by nature, doing what Pinchas did would just might be just an expression of his personality, right? He's naturally very impulsive and very fierce, right? And so doing what Pinchas did would not be for the sanctification of Hashem's name so much as it was just a natural expression of his character, right? And so that's what the Jewish people were saying. They're saying, "Oh, Pinchas, you're a descendant of Yisrai. Yisrai was someone who conquered his nature, right? He had to overcome his past and battle and overcome and suppress all the ideas he learned in his youth. So what you're doing, Pinchas, you're not doing what you're doing for the sake of heaven. You're just, acting on your natural tendency and impulse." So that's why the pasuk says he was the son of Aaron HaKayin. Aaron was characterized by being a lover of the Jewish people, right? He would spend his time trying to make peace between man and his fellow. And so the pasuk is saying, no, Pinchas is a descendant of Aaron. Pinchas has this quality of love and care for another person. And so doing what Pinchas did, Pinchas killing Zimri, is completely antithetical to his character, and therefore what he did was certainly exclusively for the sake of heaven, and therefore deserves full reward.